All right, everyone. Good morning. And as usual, let's start with 1 minute of silence. Let's observe 1 minute of silence and let's begin. All right. So let's get started. And today it is going to be we just review the path that we crossed so far. The past 10 days, what are the things that we covered, and then what are the different practices that we followed, and etc. As well as today, I want you to be a little more active in a way that, I want your feedback. As we all know that the 10 minds or 10 mind is stronger than one mind. So probably I need your thoughts and your inputs to structure how to take it forward. Because we are in the, Atlas, I am in a place wherein I want to know the feedback from you so that I can plan and understand, is it something that we have to go deeper, or should we keep going, with the things? Because at the end of the day, next 10 more days to go, and at the end of the day you should have something concrete. It is not about something that you did for 21 days, but you should be able to take it forward from there and practice it and be aware and mindful and have the inner stillness with you. For that, I need your feedback. So we tried a lot of meditation and visualization, as well as we covered few topics. The topics to understand what is our inner state is like and how we can be aware of. So let's quickly review it. And I just want you to be actively present. So is that okay?
Yes.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Perfect. 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 Thank you so much. Right. So the first and foremost thing that I wanted to start with, the quick recap is the first day we just looked at, introduction to inner stillness. And then the second day we moved on to one couple of topics. One is what the Kushal was asked, so is it a practice? We need to do it for a lifetime. So I given an example of Buddha, and then I said why even the Buddha has to let go of his practices after one point in time. And that is when he got enlightened, because the practice itself is an active effort, is what we discussed on the day two. And that specific day, we practiced inner stillness exercise, wherein we had a visualization in front of a lake and throwing pebbles into the lake. So I'm looking for the ripples to settle down. So that is the first day. Not the second day, technically. And then we moved on to something called macrocosm. So I was talking about we need to shift our perspective if we wanted to change our life or change any situation. Then we discussed about the macrocosmos, primarily going outwards, going and being one with the, say, the cosmos or universe. For that, I given an example of, say, sacred geometry. And we did a meditation or the visualization of going out of body and then going to a place of, and then into the space of one pure consciousness, which manifested into everything. And the fourth day, we slightly touched upon about thoughts and identities and etc. We it was a very casual, informal meeting that day because of Diwali, and then that day we touched upon thoughts, identities, values, and etc. Even in that specific day, we went through the memory lane of ourself, and then to bring out any specific identity that stood out when we walked through from the time of birth or the earliest memory until this point in time. So we did that exercise. On the fifth day, we did primarily on microcosm. The microcosm is there is a universe which is within us, We went inwards to a like as a breath, as a oxygen, or the breath as a capsule or the vehicle. We went inwards. We went and we explored more of being there in a zone of inner stillness from the place of being from an autumn perspective. That is macrocosm, microcosm, and then from there we moved on to something called identities. We briefly discussed about what are the different types of identities we form, and we did a small exercise of understanding our identities, because most often all our challenges comes in is how we relate to a specific thought and how we power the thought with attaching ourselves with a lot of identities, values and beliefs, ideas, definitions, knowledge, etc. So that way we explored identities. And then next day, then we talked about attachments. Attachments and non-attachment is something that we touched upon, and then we explored that how we are there, like how we attach to things. And then we moved on to impermanence of thing, which is a tough topic, considering the impermanence is primarily and having the awareness that everything changes, everything around us changes, including our thoughts, emotions, feeling, situation and everything. Even the good things changes, the bad situation or other ones also change. And finally, yesterday we talked about equanimity and how to be in a place of balanced place. So that's our journey so far, if I have to quickly recap. So from there, there are a few questions also cropped up. Probably we may not have discussed over the session. And as I'm speaking to people, someone who's not even attended this any of those sessions, but she raised a question about identities, and we can go through those questions as well to get little more clarity, and we can have a discussion. So the today objective is no objective, right? There is no new introduction to any specific thought or idea or a topic, no. But then we will understand how is it helping each one of us at the end of the day, and how we can make this much more concrete, much more deeper, much more meaningful for our journey, which we are going to take it forward in the next 10 days. If that is all right, it is going to be a discussion, right? It is not me speaking, but I want you to speak out and tell me your experience and thoughts. And from there, we will know how to take it forward. So if that's fine, we can start with one of you. And I just quickly want to know the two objective questions, what we will be looking at is the first one. I have a dilemma. To be honest, I have a dilemma. The dilemma is, so I'm trying to bring new visualization or a meditation thing every single day. So one way to look at is it gives in a variety, the variety of different ways that you can practice. Also, it is too many things. At the end of the day, if you look at it, it is too many things to practice. Sometimes you may not be able to grasp all these things, and it is not one thing that you can take away from the sessions or the 21 days. So should we keep exploring different way or different practices, or should we stick to one practice for the rest of the days? So that's the first thing I want to know. And the second thing is, if you have any kind of a question or you need clarity in any of the topics that we discuss, please be open and tell me how you want that to be addressed. So that way we go deeper instead of spreading ourselves thin. That being said, open to you. Whoever wants to start first, please. Anyone? Guys, as I said, I need the interaction going, please.
Let me
So
start.
this is
Ram, you want to
Okay.
start?
Yeah, let me start, Karthik. First of all, no, thanks for all your time and effort, for this program. Like I just want to acknowledge that part. Yes. So you till now, how I see is like you brought in a lot of like the sharing around the identity, all of that really helps to understand you know different concepts which you've experienced. That's one.
Mhm.
And the second thing is different way you're trying to do the guided meditation. Help us to kind of be in a try to be in a stillness, right?
Mhm.
So from my perspective, So even it's a meditation silent stillness session, but the mind always look at what is in it for me after 21
Sure,
days, right?
sure.
So it can be like it can it help uh, to kind of pick up a habit which is it could be probably just being alone with me, probably with the guider, without guider, anything, how I can be take it. I know this helps, but also at the same time I know that it's not my habit it's not a regular thing. It's like you go and use it whenever you need it, kind of meditation practices. So um, how I can continue this means like continue this practice even after 21 days.
Mhm.
And particularly you mentioned effortless, right? And we spoke about it, right? Everything comes with the effort and time, right? So how this can be effortless.
Mhm.
One, with your sharing on how it helps people, how it
Mhm.
helps in a different way, which you are doing probably the initial few minutes.
Mhm.
Then the practices, how it can be continued. That's the expectation going forward.
Okay.
um, so one thing is probably if we can increase the stillness time,
Mhm.
uh, would be better, I believe, based on my experience, right? Because the more you be on your
Mhm.
own, it helps you, and you experience it on your own, that how it helps you basically.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Oh, thanks, Ram. So I'll quickly just summarize, Ram, what you shared is like, so after 21 days, you want to be in a place wherein without any guidance or with the guidance, you want to make this as a habit and how you can take it forward in your day-to-day life. That's the first thing. And increase the more time with the stillness, the place of stillness, which you become aware of, and then you want to be there by yourself. And how to do this effortlessly, right? The effortless way of getting this or achieving this state, right? So that is a primarily is what you're looking forward to.
Yeah. Yeah.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Super. Thanks, Ram. Thanks for sharing. Anyone? Kushal.
Yeah, Karthik. So I would like to basically I mean, repeat the same thing of what Ram said.
Mhm.
But few, things like, so what I was looking at, Karthik, is can we have can we have some topics like how to improve your focus, or there's a lot of anxiety now.
Mhm.
So can we take up maybe one, or if it's whatever is it, ultimately we need to do this by effortlessly, right? What,
Mhm.
like Ram said.
Mhm.
So can we take up some things like how to improve focus, because that is something which I'm also I'm like, it's very hard for me.
Mhm.
So if we can achieve that, any topics like the focus, anxiety, or it can be any other emotion.
Mhm.
So then it'd be really great, Karthik.
Okay. So it is kind of so effortlessly remove any of those emotion that you may not want, right? So
Yes,
it can be
yes,
anxious, stress, or depression, or anything that you don't want it, and then how to deal with it, kind of, right? How to deal
correct.
with it in an effortless way, right? So
Yes, yes, yes.
okay, deal with it in an effortless way. Perfect.
Yeah, and some tools like this, like like the Annapurna session was really good.
Mhm.
I've been trying to
Open up.
do this, like, open on, yeah, sorry, on that, like, maybe some tools, like if in case you're having some issues, then you can use this tool, then it'd be really good. So
Awesome.
yeah.
Okay, awesome. Yep. Thank you so much, Kushal. Is there anything else you want to share, Kushal? Add on to it?
Nothing. Thanks, Karthik.
Super. So it is that is how to the effortless way or how to deal with any of the negative situation or emotion, that how we can handle it. That's the first thing. And some tools that may help you with your journey and which you can use it. It's kind of I wouldn't say quick fix, but then the ready to use tool whenever you go through a challenges in your life. Right. So that
Correct,
is what you're expecting. Awesome.
correct, correct.
Thank you so much.
And Karthik, in that it also includes like not getting sleep and everything, right? Because
Yeah.
I mean, last night I slept at 3,
Hmm.
and I was not getting sleep. I don't know for what reason.
Hmm.
I'm sure it is from anxiety issues.
Hmm.
But yeah, maybe you can try to cover that if possible, then it'll be like solid.
Perfect, perfect. Fair enough. Yep. So now I'm getting a little more understanding of like, the expectations are. So the inner stillness is like, I was looking at in one specific way, which is how to reach there. So for me, my way of looking at like, I would go from a place of being there and inner stillness, and I look at into it. Okay, so awareness is the key. Like, the awareness is the one single thing. So I wanted to go and talk about it, and then how the inner dialogues works in, and then I was focusing more on it. So now from you and your feedback, I'm getting more, little more understanding of what exactly is the challenge and what exactly is the solution that you're looking for. Thanks for sharing. And someone else. Siddharth, do you want to share? Please.
Topic. So I think the fact that there is a new topic that's being covered. Pardon my use of the word topic. I don't know if that's what you call it, but
That, that.
uh, different thought that's being covered on a daily basis.
Mhm.
I think that's something which I've gone on to enjoy, simply because I feel, although I may not master one particular thought, let's say in this case, a macrocosm or a microcosm,
Mhm.
just being aware of it gives me an opportunity to learn about it further at a later given point in time.
Okay.
So, in that way, getting to know different things that I don't know of already is something which I really enjoy.
Mhm.
When it comes to the practice,
Mhm.
uh, on a personal level, what I have felt is that the more number of times I do one particular thing, the better I get at it. Uh, and as much as I love variety,
Mhm.
I feel that on a personal level, when I try to build a particular habit, it usually happens only when I try to do one particular aspect on a daily basis. I'm pretty sure that's the reason people practice a particular thing, right?
True.
So I so I think, yeah. So considering that this is 21 days,
Mhm.
21 days doing different things 21 days would give us a flavor of what is there. But perhaps if it could keep one thing or even two things constant,
Mhm.
it can be, let us take that as, uh, say, one or two things that's been a constant and which will be perhaps a constant after those 21 days also. Again, I think there's a trade-off over here, right? It only means that if you're doing those two things, and there are 19 odd things which you could have done, which you're not going to do. But I feel that trade-off is there anywhere.
True.
Uh, so depending on how others feel, I think we can take it. But I'm just putting it out there so that it's it's easier for consumption and we can deliberate on it before taking a decision. That's number one. And second is uh, more along the lines of uh, what I'd shared with you over a text, and
Mhm.
that if we can keep the sessions more interactive,
Mhm.
and while saying this, I am not putting the onus on you.
Mhm.
Uh, I don't want it to seem like you need to ensure that everyone else participates. I think everyone has their own autonomy and choice to express
True.
their views. But
True.
on a personal level, I would love it if others also added. We can perhaps look at the ways in which that can be possible.
True.
Uh, because I feel at the end of the day, all of us, by virtue of being here for 20 or 30 odd years, we have different experiences.
True.
And I feel that can be a value addition
You're right.
in terms of learning when you're building a set of when you're building a group with a lot of people. And another way I've come to see it is, I think when you are teaching us or
Mhm.
walking us through a particular thought or a session,
Mhm.
I think to a certain extent you're being selfless in the sense that you're sharing different things.
Mhm.
Uh, but when I, as a participant, when I consume it and don't interact or
Mhm.
or don't tell my thoughts, then I feel somewhere down the line I'm also being a little selfish because I'm taking,
Mhm.
but I'm not giving. It's just a different way of looking at it.
Okay.
It may be right, may be wrong, but that's the second aspect. And third aspect is, if there could be, like, say, a small read or a sort of a pre-read or certain things just to improve our understanding of that particular thought. Uh, So all these 3 points, again, it need not be pervasive. It's just personal to me. So if any of these make sense, we can probably discuss about it later. But these would be the 3 things that I'd be looking at. And if you require more clarity to expand on, I will be happy to do so. Thanks.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Siddharth. So what I understand from what you said, Siddharth, so the different topics, though it gives you the flavor of it. And when it comes to practices, if we can stick to 1 or 2 practices, which becomes a habit and also becomes a takeaway for you from the session of the 21 days journey. And the second one is, if we can make it as an interactive session. Of course, as you rightly said, I need every one of your participation in terms of you opening up and then sharing your thoughts, your life experiences, and then how you faced it, you challenge the thought. See, all these things, when you're talking about impermanence, equanimity, and identities, and all those things sounds good. Okay, on intellectual level, it may be feel, yeah, that is true. But then when it comes to day-to-day level, we may all face an issue, or we may all have a challenge with that. And that is when some of the tools helps, like Oponopono, that it helps. And also, it also gives, when you share it, your life experience, that gives a perspective to how we can approach it in a different way. Like exactly like how Siddharth shared the incident, the response and react and response. So he shared that example of the day-to-day life, like when you're talking about in traffic, that gives a perspective. Likewise, with interaction, even I will get to learn more from you, and it becomes a much more interactive and engaging session. So please be open. That helps all of us. And third thing, what Siddharth said was pre-read. So if there is a topic that we are going to read, for an example, tomorrow it's going to be say now, be present. So that I can share few of the things that you can come prepared with, and then the session itself can focus more on discussing and elaborating and trying to clear any kind of the uh, doubts that you may have, and then go a little more deeper. So these are the 3 takeaways from what Siddharth shared. And thank you so much, Siddharth. So now, anyone else wanted to share? So I have to call, I think, So probably I will call Sucharita, Tanaji, Selvi, please. If you have anything, you can open up. And it helps, please. Tanaji. So you shared something to me. So please.
Yes, Karthikeyan, I am totally agree with Siddharth, the third point. If we provide the topic before the session to the participants, so then they can think about it, and they can contribute their views also.
Okay. All right. So fair enough. And anyone else, like Reshma, do you want to share something?
Yeah, I give all the background noise here. So for me, I had like 2 things. One was when you when you are sailing in your journey of life, you go through a lot of emotions. So you might be going through anger at times, anxiety at times, frustration at times. So there are different various levels. So when we have to experience stillness in our day-to-day life, if there is a simple, there are so many practices that people say that, okay, now you have to count from 100 to 1 if you are angry, or do this when you are sad, right? So from stillness, if there are a couple of practices or something that, we can connect back to our stillness, very simple, not take more than a minute, kind of hacks, if we can discover together, that would be helpful. And secondly, as you already mentioned, it would really help if there was some kind of testimonials, or I don't know what's another word for that, where people come, we as a group come back and share any experience where we might have had the opportunity to practice stillness on our day-to-day life, like when we are going through something and we felt better by using this or by connecting back to the stillness. That serves as a reminder to all of us that it is possible to do it. in our own life. So I did it this way, and I felt like, okay, that was a good thing to do. So something like that. It could be just on the chat in WhatsApp, or it could be on the forum as well. And or maybe after the 21 days, if there is a way we can connect
Mhm.
together after, like maybe weekly once, or even through WhatsApp messages, that would be a good thing to do.
Awesome. So what I understand is like one, it is like as this is exactly like the we're talking about. Kushal also mentioned that the emotional journey in the day-to-day life and how we can do some like part of like some tool that we can use to go through that specific emotion and then come out of it. That's the first thing. And the second one, what Reshma shared, is the testimonial. I mean, what I understand is, so it can be like one actionable thought for the specific day, and then you mindfully practice it throughout the day whenever you go through the journey of the day, like so it's ups and downs that you face, and try to apply that one actionable thought and give the testimonial to it later on, how it works in your that specific day. Is that what, Reshma, that you said? I just want to re-clarify. So one actionable thought or and practice that they can perform every day. Is that what it is?
Yes.
Thanks. All right. So I got it. So I just open to so Sucharita or Selvi. Is there anyone they want to share?
So Kushal asked what I wanted to ask, so I have nothing else.
Okay. So you wanted to focus with Kushal. Okay. Awesome.
Yeah, I wanted to ask what Kushal asked. So
Excellent. Excellent. Thank you so much.
thank you.
Yes. All right. So now I got a glimpse of what is the expected out of this program itself, right? So thank you so much for sharing. And is there anyone wants to share as well? Like, please be open at this moment as well, anytime. So with that, so much clarity that I have right now. So thank you so much. And now let's quickly, like, go and talk about the quick questions. Like, two of that, I think it is pretty important that we talk about and we move to a practice and then we can end for the day. I know it is a short day today, but then it is very valuable for me in terms of getting to understand what you're expecting. So the one of the questions I received from one of the non-participant, when I say non-participant, she never attended any of the programs, but then she watched the videos and she reached out to me and said, like, so Karthik, she practices something called affirmation. If you know about the author Louis Hay, so the Heal Your Life feature. So they talk about a lot of affirmation, and then the affirmation as a way of I am strong. I am, like, they add I am as a word to reaffirm to themselves who they are. And what she was asking is if the identities are like, I have to get out of all this I am, but whereas in the other part of the healing, because Heal Your Life is all about inner work, inner healing, and in which they talk about I am. So I'm forming identity. So how is this? Is it somehow it feels conflicting? How do I work towards it? So somehow I find that question to be very profound because most often we also need to reassure ourselves when it comes to, like, when we are feeling completely down. There are some words like, I'm feeling confident. I'm confident. The reassurance comes from within. When it comes from within, we also need some identity. We cannot just let go of that identity. So my perspective to her was something like this. So when you're talking about the I am from an identity, when for this conversation's sake, when we talked about, it is something which is bothering us. As I always said, the identity itself is not a bad thing to have. It is a wonderful place to be in to help us, give us energy to face life. However, the moment we attach to those identities, which is weighing us down, which is making us suffer, and that is when we have to let go. And the point where she mentioned as I am, even from the author, the Heal Your Life author, it is about the I am, which is the pure I am who's within. It is not about our outside identity, but then if you're talking about the awareness, the pure consciousness, what we're talking about, or we are trying to understand what it is, from that place, the I am is, it is so powerful. It is so strong because that one consciousness, which is absolute consciousness. When I say absolute, I mention in macrocosm when you're talking about that one consciousness which is pure, which started expanding, which manifested into all of us and all the beings in creation. So when it reassuring ourselves with I am confident, I am strong, I can face any life situation, or any kind of a affirmation or incantation, it can come from your reassuring that pure awareness part of it. It is not just outwards. And I hope it makes some sense and you can understand what I mean. The I am is the deeper self, not the outside self. And also, when you're talking about the Oponopono, like Kushal mentioned, so there are situations in our life that comes in, whereas we want with something like, after all those things are fine, like, how we are responding to people and etc. is fine. But then some situation that lingers on our mind, like, we constantly try to hold on to the thought, and the thought hurt us so much. It creates pain. Though it is easier said and done, like, I can say, okay, let go of the thoughts. It is just a thought, it is impermanent. However, the mind doesn't listen. It is like, the crying child. It needs all the attention. It needs all the pampering. It needs everything what it wants. So the mind goes on. The mental thing goes on and on and on. Whereas we need to give some kind of a reassurance to that specific thought. And for me, how I saw is like, probably if it involves the other person, probably I will call the person and speak. And what if it is not a person? If it is some other situation or other things, what will I do? Or if the other person is not even ready to talk to me, what will I do? So that is where Oponopono as a practice also comes handy. Because to do Oponopono, that practice that we did, if I'm sure most of you were there on that specific day, it is about saying, I love you, saying, I am sorry, saying, please forgive me and thank you. So you're saying, I love you to the pure self of the other person, not the one who created the situation, but the different you, or the person who is pure himself. Like, that is a pure energy form. I love you. And I'm sorry because there is some part of me also created that emotion and then you behaved in such a way. And finally, like when you say, please forgive me for my side of the bargain, what I acted in a way, thank you. So this exercise, we can do it for any situation that like, bothers us. We can take the situation and we can do this practice like Oponopono. And if you're interested, probably we'll go a little more deeper in Oponopono if that is of your thing. Like, so if there is some constant life situation that is bothering you and you don't know how to reconcile with that emotion part of it, we can do that as well. So with that being said, we already reached some of the time, like it's already 7:40. So let's do a quick stillness exercise, which is just be, right? When I say just be, all I believe is with the whole inner stillness is, it is the practice of absolute vigilant awareness. You being the witness, you aware of what is going on within your body, like, with your body outwards, as well as what goes within yourself. So for that, you need attention, you need awareness. And for that awareness is what we're going to practice and to reach the place of stillness. With that being said, if you're all okay, then we can practice it for, say, few minutes before we wind for today. And let's get started. Let me know if you're ready. All right.
Yep.
Thanks, Kushal. And all right. Just make yourself comfortable. It is going to be a few minutes exercise. And it is, let's go back to the lake where we all saw a stillness already there. So let's go back to that place, visualize. So please make yourself comfortable now. As you're getting comfortable, observe your breath. Take few deep breaths. Inhale through your nose and exhale through your mouth. Inhale and exhale. Inhale. 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 And exhale Inhale. and exhale. Inhale and exhale. As you're noticing your breath now, gently close your eyes and bring your attention back to your body, back to your breath. Bring the breath to the normal flow as it is, without any force to it. Let it be normal. Let it get back to its normal state of in and out. As you're observing your breath, scan your body for any kind of a tension or any kind of a discomfort that you're feeling at this moment. If you're finding any discomfort, gently relax that part. Scan your body from head to toe for any kind of a sensation that you may feel at this moment. Acknowledge the sensation as it is. As you acknowledge all the sensation in your body, now it's time to look at your inner state of being. Take a look at your emotional state at this moment. Whatever is your emotional state, it's absolutely fine. It is okay to feel anything that you're feeling at this moment. Allow that emotion to be as it is. And finally, it is time to observe your thoughts. As you know, the thoughts come, thought goes. It is not a permanent thing. They are just like a ripples, just comes one after the other, and allow it by itself, it settles over a period of time. Allow the thoughts to be as they are. So now, from this place, which is beyond your body, beyond your senses, beyond your mind, beyond your emotion, beyond your thoughts, there is a place of absolute awareness and absolute stillness. As you acknowledge all the outward and the inward thing, and you see there is a place which is of complete stillness within you, reach out to that place. So this place, it is fully silent. There is no waves. It is straight. It is flat. It is completely in a peaceful place to be in. Be there in that moment and be an observer of the silence and inner stillness within you. As you're experiencing the inner stillness, take a mental note of what does it feels like? What do you see there? How it feels? Just take a mental note of it, which comes handy in the later state. And be in your inner stillness. And this place of inner stillness is, it doesn't get affected by anything that happens around you. It doesn't get affected by the past. It doesn't get affected by the future. It doesn't get affected by any kind of a sensation or life situation. It is always there. It is always there within you. And it is just a breath away for you to reach this place of inner stillness. Just take a gentle note of it and notice how you feel. Make it to the core of your being, that place of inner stillness. As you witness this place, now gently bring your awareness back to your thoughts. And again, you see thought comes, thought goes, just always it happens. That's fine. Allow the thoughts to be there. Now bring your attention back to your emotion, an inner state of being. Make a mental note of it. Allow your emotion to be there the way they are. Now that you acknowledge your emotion, it's time to bring and scan your body for any kind of a sensation that is happening in your body. Acknowledge the sensation and allow them to be there as well. And now it's time to bring your attention back to your body and your surroundings. Gently notice any kind of a tension or a discomfort that you're feeling in your body, as well as notice any kind of a sound that is happening around you. Just focus on it. As you become a vigilant observer of all the sounds that's happening around you, at this moment, you also been aware that there is a silence which is exists even at around the sounds that you're hearing at this moment. Be a vigilant observer to see the silence that is exists even at this moment that is around you. Look for the silence for a second. In our day-to-day life, as the day go by, all we feel is the noise that is coming from external. But then we also know that deep in ourselves, there is a silence which also exists in this place of noisy place as well. So we are trying to be a vigilant observer of the stillness, of the silence which exists outside as well. With that awareness, we can bring back our attention back to the session, and you may open your eyes when you're comfortable. Sorry. Once you're back to this place, back to the session, please let me know. All right. I believe every one of you are back to this place. So Thank you so much for joining me today. And I just quickly want to know how many of you are fine with tomorrow at 7 a.m. Or do you feel that being a Sunday, do you want to postpone to the later on the day? Or how do you feel it? Please let me know, because that's an important thing, because this journey, it's for you as well as for me. So it is, we can take a decision collectively, which help both of us. So do let me know if you think 7 a.m. is too early. If you want to postpone, do let me know. I know Sylvie, she already for the evening it is. So it's difficult. So let me know. Probably even over the chat, we can discuss over it, over the WhatsApp. Do let me know. All right. Fair enough. So some of you are sending a message. Please do let me know. I will just quickly post it on WhatsApp this after the session. Respond to it. So with that said, thank you so much for joining. And if you have any question or you want any discussion, you can stay back and we can have it, or we can conclude the session. Thank you so much.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Karthik.